Yeah, I can
Yes,
hear you.
I hear
Yep.
you perfectly.
Hey, are we supposed to talk? All right, cool. Okay, hey, welcome to Montgomery County Community College, home of your Mustangs. I'm Ryan Plummer here, and I'm with Donnell Peak. Uh, Hey everyone watching on the live stream. We're here in the Health Sciences Center at Montgomery County Community College for your matchup tonight for your Mustangs against the Monroe College Mustangs. We're very excited for this matchup tonight. I'm Ryan Plummer. I'm here with Donnell Peak. Tonight, your Mustangs are taking on a really tough opponent in the Monroe College Mustangs. They're NJCAA Division I, so if you think of the NCAA, they have Division I teams, they have Division II teams, Division III teams. While the National Junior College Athletic Association is similar, we have D1 teams, D2 teams, and D3 teams. So we're taking on a Division I college tonight. We are Division III team. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. A few similar opponents that we have in common are Harrisburg Area Community College. The Mustangs from Monroe defeated the Harrisburg Hawks 3-0. We lost both of our matches against Harrisburg 3-0. So we're definitely looking at an uphill battle tonight.
And I think it's going to be a great matchup here with both Mustangs.
Yeah.
But specifically for Monroe, they have a really good challenge. And just looking at the lineup, I think it's going to be a really interesting game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And because both teams are the Mustangs tonight, we're going to be referring to the Monroe College Mustangs as Monroe and the Montgomery Mustangs as the Mustangs.
Yes,
So if you hear that, please don't get confused with that. We're seeing the starters come out for the Mustangs right now. Looks like a fairly standard starting lineup for the Mustangs. Sam Zorpa is out sick today. And because of that, you'll see Brianna Clemmer starting for the Mustangs tonight. And we're about to begin the national anthem here, so we're going to do that now. All right, and we're ready to get underway.
We are ready to go underway. So, Ryan, tell me a little bit about the history of both teams.
I believe this is the first time that these two teams have faced off in volleyball ever, at least in recent history. So we don't really know what to expect exactly from that. Obviously, as we talked about before, Monroe is a D1 team in the NJCAA, and they are a pretty formidable foe. Your Mustangs come into the game at 15-5 overall, whereas Monroe comes into the game at 16-8. However, that's a little bit skewed because Monroe is playing pretty much all D1 teams, whereas the Mustangs are playing D3 teams.
Yes.
So they're about the middle of the pack, Monroe, middle of the pack D1 team, which is still, we're about a high-end D3 team. There's still a big skill disparity there, but the Mustangs aren't going to let that get them down. They're very motivated and they're ready to go here. So looking at the Monroe starters, looks like we have Giala Lalanga, number 5, Alondra Ramos, number 12, Zasmine Birdwell, number 15, Alondra Garcia. Looks like their libero tonight looks like number 2, Melanie Orsini. And who am I missing here? Can you see?
Number 15.
Number 10, I believe. Number 10, Masuma and Gudi. Pretty international roster from Monroe tonight.
It seems like just a little miscommunication with the first serve.
Yeah, and we'll see a little bit of that early on in the match. Like we said, Sam Zornpa is out tonight with a sickness. So because of that, Brianna Clemmer is starting in her place, and the Mustangs are actually mixing up their formation tonight.
Okay.
They
so
typically,
what do you think that needs to be done in order for the Mustangs to come away with a clean win?
Well, I can tell you what doesn't need to be done. What happened in the first point. Dropping a miscommunication like that early on is definitely not what you want. That being said, the Mustangs have seemed to rebound really well here, although another error. And we've talked about this last time the Mustangs played a match. Errors are crucial in this matchup. Playing a team like this, you cannot commit errors, and seeing us get off to an 0-2 start already because of a couple of errors is not a good sign for the Mustangs moving forward.
Okay, yeah, and it seems that the energy from Monroe College, it seems like it's pretty high right now.
Yeah, well, what I think it is we're not used to playing very many teams. You see Julia Koenig hit through the block there to get the point. We're not used to playing very many teams that have a large roster size like us. Monroe can definitely match our energy on the bench. You can hear the Mustangs getting into it as well, though. It seems like they recognize the same thing that we recognize here.
No, seriously. Oh, man.
The ball goes back over. Julia Koenig with the set over to Miljana Vukaslovic, and she is blocked by Monroe. This is a great opportunity for the Mustangs to get some experience here, specifically because Monroe seems to be going with 2 on their block. We don't see a lot of teams play that way.
And how do you think that can affect someone's kill when it comes to spiking the ball?
Yeah, well, you just saw it there. If you don't hit away from the block, or if you don't hit at the right angle, the block will knock it right back at you.
I think that and it looks very important. It looks like when Mustangs are serving, Monroe has 3 essentially guards up towards the net. How important do you think that is to keep that and maintain that?
It'll be very interesting to see, and you see another ace from Monroe. More miscommunication and just kind of being out of position by the Mustangs, by the Mustangs right now. So that block is big. The Mustangs aren't used to playing against a 2-block system. Looks like some type of, maybe they changed the call.
I guess it was out or something?
Looks like they changed the call.
What that was.
And called the ball out. So, looks like Montgomery will be serving
they said
now.
The ball went out during the serve?
Yeah, it looks like that's what they called. They changed the call late to call the ball out, giving the Mustangs the point. There's a great kill right there by Monroe. That's what the Mustangs are going to be looking at a lot today. Monroe is a very good hitting team. They've got talent and height up front, especially at that outside hitter position. But the Mustangs aren't used to facing a 2-block system like this, which means that their outside hitters like Miljana Vukaslovic and I believe Julia Koenig's playing outside hitter today are going to have to play around that block, either hit around it or get a good angle into the block in order to score points.
That's a good point. And I think angling the position of the ball could be very important for a lot of players trying to get it over.
Yeah, absolutely. You see another hit. Here comes Miljana Vukaslovic. A great, and you see that angle she took there. She went far to the outside to get around that block, and because of that, they were able to get past it and score the point.
That's a really good point. And I think that our audience, when it comes to watching volleyball, techniques are very important, and working as a team is very important. What do you think it takes for Monco to be able to beat a team like Monroe in this kind of game?
We're going to have a near-perfect game tonight, and we're going to need Monroe to not play up to the level that they typically play at. You see some subs coming in for Monroe. Looks like number 13, Lillian Olsen.
And number 18.
Number 18, Yarian Gonzalez.
Okay.
Not sure if Monroe saw something or if they're picking up on the weaknesses from the Mustangs. See another hit from Miljana Vukaslovic over there, and a great defensive play from Monroe to get that back in. And they get a free ball now, which means they can set up an offensive play. And they can't get it over the net. Rare error there by Monroe. That was a pretty crazy point. You can hear the crowd getting into it. Yeah. We've got a few of the men's basketball players here watching the game.
And we noticed that. And people that are coming out are really supportive of the the Monroe Mustangs.
Yeah, we have a
team
great
here.
student body here for sure, and a great kind of athletics department. Oh,
Oh,
another error from
it looks like
Monroe.
she might have missed the jump just
Yeah,
too late.
she came out at a bad angle. We have a great athletics department here. All of our teams really support each other. At any given day, you'll come to a game and see other members from other teams there watching and supporting the Mustangs. Really great environment. So you see the hit. Brianna Clemmer gets the dig. Julia Kunek
Oh,
comes out
somebody's
for the
lost
block.
her shoe. It seems that Maria lost her shoe
At
as
least
she was trying
the
to
shoe
block.
came off.
Looks.
I've never seen that before, to be honest.
No.
I don't.
Maybe she might have to retie her shoe and make it a
Seems-
little tight before they start the game.
Yeah.
And if you notice, the girls' volleyball team's wearing pink shoes, pink laces, excuse me, on their shoes. They're also supporting the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is October, and as part of the team, they wanted to support a lot of those people who've suffered from cancer and breast cancer specifically, and wanted to show their support.
Yeah, and I love it. And another thing you'll see actually is pink tape. So the athletic department ordered pink tape for the volleyball team, so that they can tape, have visible more pink visible.
And it seems that and like I said, the pink just supportive of breast cancer awareness. To any of the people who have suffered from that, keep continuing to fight the battle, and you're always going to know that we're going to have support. And what a good block, even though that it went out of bounds. Number 9 from the Mustangs really showed that she's not afraid of any of the spikes going on.
Yeah, Brie Clemmer going up for the block there. Unfortunately, they'll probably go down the stat sheet as a blocking error. It's going to be very tough to block this Monroe team. They hit with a lot of pace, and they hit in great positions. So Mustangs keeping up with Monroe right now, though.
Yeah, it just seems like it's kind of like getting a feel for the game.
Another
just a
missed hit there.
miscommunication.
Yep.
And, and I think they just got to get the jitters out. It's the first set, and Monroe is just trying to get their position right to defend Monroe.
Yeah, we've seen this Mustang team, as the ball goes out, when we get another point, we've seen this Mustang team kind of falter a little bit when they get into big games. They, mentally, because I think part of the reason is we're very good and we play a lot of not as good teams. When we do play good teams, sometimes we don't know how to start, we don't know how to react. There's a block again, ball coming off of the block and heading out, so it's a point for Monroe. 5-point lead, though, is not a huge lead.
No. It seems like it could be something bad. Like I said, it's the first set. They're just trying to get a feel get all the jitters out, the feelings and stuff, because this is a pretty big game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see another error from Paula Kramer on the reception, giving Monroe a point. This lineup, we'll probably see a lot of it tonight. I don't foresee too many backups coming in unless it gets late into the match and one team is way far ahead. You see Maria Kalis for the reception. Julia Kunek coming up for the hit, and a great hit by Kunek. Ball comes outside for another attempt from Monroe. Oh, she just taps it over the net there. Monroe gets set up, gets a good hit. Maria Kalis with the dig. Out to Julia Kunek, who just hits over the block, and you can see the block affecting how the Mustangs hit the ball. Unfortunately, the Mustangs can't afford to play like that against Monroe.
It seems like she was just, and it looks like a timeout called by
the Mustangs.
Monroe Mustangs. If you see on coach's just on his shirt, he's also having the breast cancer awareness symbol, wearing also the support of breast cancer awareness month. A lot of people suffer from that, and we have the support again as we talk about that. But if you're the coach of the Mustangs, Monroe specifically, what are you telling your team right now?
Well, if I'm head coach Rob Childs, I'm just trying to coach them in more specific ways. I'm giving them tips. I'm not trying to make a big deal out of how big the game is, and just pointing out things that we can do better as a team. This is going to be a very tough match to win, and I think Coach Childs understands that. I'd just be giving them tips on their technique. It's a great opportunity to improve on some skills. We're going to be seeing if we end up going to, which we are end up going to regional playoffs. We're going to see a lot of teams like Monroe, maybe not quite as talented, but
right.
We need to work on some of these skill sets that we're going to build here in this match.
And I think this could really give more exposure to the fact that Montgomery County Community College, the Mustangs, we're becoming a lot noticed from different parts of the country. They're actually really looking at the teams and saying, they're actually being pretty good. So we're gonna have them play tougher teams. We're gonna see a serve from Monroe go out of bounds. What would you say the process to try to make the players and recruitment for Coach Childs to be better? How would
Yeah,
you
well,
go
it's
about that?
interesting. I'd like to talk about that. Monroe actually came out to schedule a match with us. A big D1 school coming out. They
Wow.
wanted to play us because they were in the area. They wanted to play. They were playing Harrisburg as well, so they wanted to add us onto the schedule. So that really shows how well our team is doing right now. Just showing you, we're towards the top of the standings in the region. I believe when this match was scheduled late in the season, or in the middle of the season, I should say. We were second in the region, and so more teams are coming out to want to play us from different areas around the country. And you're right, there is a lot of notoriety coming out now. We've talked about Rob Childs before, head coach for the Mustangs, and how great of a job that he does for them. And you can really see his work paying off, and the team's work paying off as well.
Wow. And the fact that they're willing to even come down here to play us is a really big thing. And I think that, like you said, the more exposure that these girls get, the more and better they become as a team.
And you see, looks like that ball might have gone out, but the Mustangs tipped it and went out of bounds on them. Yeah, teams like this, they spend a lot of time traveling around the country. Monroe has gone to Florida. They've gone to a bunch of different states. So the fact that they would want to add us on to their schedule for while they're out in the Pennsylvania trip just really shows, again, just how respected the Mustangs are right now. We saw
that is just amazing. It's just to see the fact that the defense that Monroe has and the fact that they were able to recover just from those mistakes shows a lot of talent on their team.
Yeah, they're a very talented team. And like we said, the international roster, Division I NJCA, you can give scholarships. So a few of these athletes are probably on a scholarship as well, coming from all over the place. You see that come off the block here as they go to make a kill attempt. Looks like Victoria Ropeman is in the game, we should mention. The ball came off of her there on a slight error. Substitution coming in for Monroe. It's number 4, Nia Cornetti.
Yeah, number 4 is coming in, taking number 12.
Yeah, she is definitely the tallest player out in the court right now.
6'6" is that? That's man.
Yeah, a lot of height right there. Surprised that we didn't see her earlier, actually. With height like that, it's tough to not utilize that. But we'll see how well she does now. Looks like she'll be playing in that middle hitter sort of blocking position.
Interesting.
Here comes the serve from Monroe. Comes over and it is out of bounds. Point for the Mustangs. You see Monroe kind of pull away late here.
And they seem like a team that will kind of do that. At the beginning, it was kind of jittery. They kept going match points back and forth. And now it just seems that they're kind of gathering themselves together and slowly pulling away.
Yeah, and reading up on some of their previous matches, specifically against Harrisburg, they did the same thing. They started off a little slower and then picked up the pace to beat them. Not looking great for the Mustangs right now, but we'll see if they can make a late comeback, make a late push. The serve is in, goes to Erica Bruzek. Julie Kunuk with a set over to Miljana Vukosilvovic with a great hit, but the defense from Monroe is just too strong. They've been setting up their hitters really well, and that's something that's tough to defend.
Man, and I'm telling you, it's really hard because it seems like Monroe has more of a disciplined way of hitting the ball. Like they know where they want to hit it and the direction and the trajectory they want the ball to go. Do you think it would be difficult for the Mustangs to defend something like that?
Yeah, it's always difficult. If the set is good and the kill is in the right spot, it's really difficult to defend some of that. And when you get to these higher level teams like Monroe, that happens. You see the ball just skim off the net on the serve, giving Monroe an ace there. It's definitely difficult, and they hit with pace and they hit really well in position. So when the set is even close for a team like this, you'll see it be very good. Bad serve
now,
there.
if you notice the faces of the Mustangs, they don't seem energetic as they were when they started. Do you think that effects of energy could affect their play in the game?
Oh, definitely. But, I think they understand what they're up against here. They know it's going to be a very tough task. And when you're down 23-9 like they are now, it's tough to come up and play hard. I'd like to see them make a late run here, maybe put a couple points in a row to kind of build on to the second set. Hopefully you can build some momentum, and maybe we can take a set off of Monroe. I'd definitely love to see that. Once you do that, then you're back in it.
It seemed like just a miscommunication on the Mustangs' part.
Yeah, it was. There was a well-positioned serve, and there definitely was some miscommunication there. See the libero serving right now, number 2, Melanie Orsini. A good serve. Goes to Miljana Vukoslowicz for the hit, and she hits right into the block. You can see where that block comes into play. And that'll end the first set, 25-9.
Already. Looks like they So if you're Rob Childs, the coach of the Mustangs, what do you think this game is going to do for your ladies going into the playoffs?
Well, it's awesome experience. Fantastic experience to play a team like this. I don't think any team that we play in the regional playoffs, at least, will be as good as this Monroe team. So being able to see just what these higher level teams are doing and hopefully mimicking that with our own program is going to give us some great experience heading into the playoffs. Obviously, if we take the loss here, that'll hurt our momentum a little bit. But as long as the girls understand that and understand that this is a very tough team and the win is unlikely, then I think you'll be okay in terms of momentum and mental shape going into the playoffs.
Wow.
And the Mustangs are currently sitting at 4th place in the region with a loss to Rowan College of South Jersey Gloucester last night.
I heard that it was a very tough game that they went through, and it was trying to battle as much as they could.
Yeah, Sam Zornpa being sick. She picked the wrong week to be sick.
Yeah, right.
Two big matches right in a row as well. So that really hurt the Mustangs' rotation. Even then, they competed with Gloucester. Wow. They competed with the Roadrunners. Second set was 25-23. We actually had a small lead in that towards the end of that set. So it's tough for the Mustangs because now they're probably going to be stuck in 4th place until regional playoffs come. And it'll definitely affect their regional seeding.
And when does that start? Regional playoffs?
So regional playoffs, I'm not sure the exact dates. I know our last regular season match will be this weekend, a tri-match starting at 12 p.m. on Saturday. We'll be taking on Atlantic Cape and Valley Forge Military College, two regional schools. 2 schools with not great records that the Mustangs should look to defeat. And then after that, once seeding's determined, we'll have dates and times for when we'll be playing.
Playoffs. Perfect. And I think that's very important going into playoffs, especially playing games like this, very competitive, high energy kind of games. I think this is going to give them a lot of exposure and maybe bring them together, make them a better team.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. Teamwork dynamics. It's definitely going to change a lot because, as I said, the Mustangs are running a 4-2 formation now, where they're playing with basically 2 setters because of Sam Zornpa being out. So that'll change come regional playoffs. We'll probably switch back to a different formation depending on what head coach Rob Childs sees in the other team.
Wow.
Ideally, they'd love to run a 3-3 formation, but a little bit tougher,
that helps
or a 6-2 formation as well. Yeah.
Do you think that helps them when it comes to playing games like this, changing up the format or how they are on the floor?
As we've mentioned before, a game like this is really just an opportunity to practice techniques, formations, different things, and I think that's what Rob Childs is looking to do here. Just mix up his formation, try a different look, and obviously with limited personnel, Sam Zornpa being out today, that kind of changes how we would play typically. We see the libero coming in for Monroe. Typically, so the libero doesn't typically start. In fact, I don't think they're allowed to start a set, but they can switch in immediately after the set starts. So that's what we saw there. Looks like Erica Bruzek up to serve to start the second set. We see Kiki Rafaelen for the Mustangs. I believe that's her first time in tonight. Here comes the serve over the net. It's a deep serve, and it's in for an ace. A good start for the Mustangs in the second set.
Good start. Second set, coming out with an ace.
Erica Bruzek back up to serve. This time it's Doug over to their outside hitter. A great hit, but great defense from the Mustangs to be able to pick that up. And it looks like the Mustangs touched the net, which gives Monroe the point. See the crowd getting into it a little bit with the Monroe bench. Energy is certainly
the energy
high.
has to come high from the Mustangs.
All in good fun,
miscommunication.
A miss it. Victoria Roteman should have taken that on the defense, but she missed it there, and just like that, Monroe is back on top. Short lead for the Mustangs, but not for very long.
Started the second set. Just still some more jitteries, kind of getting everything situated.
You see set from Liana Vukslovic. Julia Kunek just long there. She's a very smart player, Julia Kunek. She knows kind of where everyone is on the court, and I believe right there, instead of trying to crush the ball, she just wanted to pick a position. Unfortunately, it was just outside. The block is in. Oh, a great kick from Vukslovic, and somehow the Mustangs get the ball back over the net.
Oh
my God.
Just a missed jump. I think that was a
jump, but incredible defense there from the Mustangs.
And a lot of people don't realize that when the ball's over, if you can't reach it with your arm, you can stick out your leg and kick it.
Any body part counts. It counts as one of your hits, so you only get 3 hits. You see a great kill from Monroe there. You only get 3 hits, so if you use if you kick the ball, that counts as one of your hits, and it's typically not what you want to do. It's not as accurate as hitting with your hands, but it does count. Yes.
Oh, and quite of a bad serve for
service error.
Monroe.
See Kiki Raphael up to serve for the first time tonight.
Here we go.
Looks like
subbed out for the libero.
Libero coming in, Leah Tollett.
I'm confused now.
Tollett's first.
Okay.
Here
we go. Okay, yeah, just like.
I think there was a miscommunication with the Mustangs.
Right,
the Liberos doesn't have to stop and sub. I think they weren't aware of that. They can just sub in from the side. A little bit of a miss hit there from Monroe. Victoria Roteman gets a bump over. See a great hit from Monroe. And again, that's so tough to defend.
And I think one thing that really is hard for Monco was to defend when a fake is coming. Because I'm not sure if they've ever played teams that does those kind of intense fakes.
Yeah, you're right. You'll see at higher levels of play, especially at the NCAA level, the ball is out, point for the Mustangs here. You'll see a lot of teams at the higher level, they will do that fake where they'll set across, and then you'll have 2 options. If you watch the setter and if you watch where the ball is going, you can typically tell where the ball is going to be played. But you're right, the Mustangs don't face a lot of teams that do that. You see the serve over from Paula Kramer. A miss it. Oh, Victoria Roteman just goes for it and almost got the kill there. And another great hit from the outside hitter.
For Monroe. And it just seems like they're just chipping away at the lead as they continue on.
A lot closer than the first set, that's for sure.
A lot closer.
Yeah.
A lot closer.
See number 15, Alondra Garcia, up to serve here. We saw some subs come in from Monroe. Serve is over. Leah Tollett gets the dig. Julia Kunek with the set. Erica Bruzek with the attempt over there. Outside to Paul Kramer with the dig. Kunek again outside, this time to Miljana Vukslovic, who hits off the block and almost gets the point. Kunek gets the dig here. Vukslovic with the set. Ooh, and it looks like there's a miscommunication there as well. There's a hit for Monroe, and it comes off of the Mustangs. That outside hitter for Monroe is very talented. She's gotten a couple points here in the second set already.
It just seems like it. Just seems that. I wonder if Mustangs need to use 2, just as Monroe does. They use 2 defenders going up to stop a spike or stop a kill. Do you think that the Mustangs might be able to use some kind of techniques to kind of help that?
It depends on your formation and your personnel. If you don't have 2, dedicated blockers, that can be tough. And the Mustangs have a couple of players that can block, but Julia Kunek is typically setting for them. So that they like to use 1 block, and the ball goes out. 8-5 now for Monroe. Miljana Vukslovic up to serve. She leads the country in service aces for NCAA Division III. She's also, I believe, 5th in the country now in service aces per set. And saw the sub come on late. She ran off the court there. After
a lot of just miscommunications on the Mustangs'
for
behalf.
sure, and a lot of that is due to the different formations and sets that they're trying to use. Serve for Monroe is about to come over now. And that's the same for the Mustangs, too, because Vukoslavovic is definitely their best server. She can put some points together, so you hate to see her lose a point for something that wasn't necessarily her fault.
It seems like the refs are making sure that placement is correct with some of the players?
Yeah, they're probably looking at the rotation for the Mustangs.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be some communication over there. They're looking at the lineup sheets, so typically that means it's some type of rotational error, just to make sure. I don't believe they're talking about the last point. It seems pretty straightforward. Tollett ran off the court and then ran back on, which you're not allowed to do even as a libero. Someone else has to come on for her. So
Okay.
seems like they got that fixed up, and Monroe will be able to serve now. The serve comes over. Dig there by Paula Kramer. Victoria Roteman gets the ball back over and just comes out. Mustangs are having trouble controlling the serve from Monroe.
And it seems like I said earlier, it seems like the energy level just kind of is going further down and down. Do you think that the Mustangs might need some kind of timeout or some kind of spark to give them some energy back?
I
as I
trust,
said something,
yeah. They get the point, of
out
course. Right. I think head coach Rob Childs knows when he wants to take a timeout and when he needs to take a timeout. And you're also seeing a lot of bench players come in for the Mustangs, trying to get as much playing time to a lot of different people as they can. See another kill there for Monroe. It's definitely a lot tougher. You want to see against a team like this that hits this well, you want to see more of a block. But the Mustangs just don't have the personnel right now, and they're trying a lot of different formations. It's tough to get a block on.
So changing formations and doing different motions, do you think that's going to help for Rob Childs to kind of chip away at this lead versus Monroe?
Well, he certainly would love to have a lot of different formations and sets and rotations available for him come playoffs time. I do think it'll help for that. See the ball come out. Looks like the block affected that hit a little bit, as you can see. Yeah. That's why the Mustangs, I think, really need to get up top, get up to the front line, and maybe at least make an attempt to block. See Erica Bruzek with a serve over, and great serve. An air receiving
right off the
error
side
on
arm
Monroe.
of her body.
Yeah. Rare to see that from Monroe, but it gives the Mustangs only a 3-point deficit right now. This time the serve is received easily. Ball goes outside, but she doesn't go for the kill. Now Julia Kunik will hit the ball, and she drops it right in the right spot for the Mustangs to grab that point. And you can see, like we said, she's a very smart player. She knows exactly where she needs to put the ball, and sometimes she'll kind of mess with the other team a little bit, and instead of crushing the ball, she'll drop it in like that. Another serve comes off a little weird, but they get a good set up. And the Mustangs are able to get the ball over the net. Incredible defense from Miljana Vukoslavovic there. Really good hit, though, coming back from Monroe. The Mustangs find themselves back down 3 points.
Man, so what do you think the Mustangs have to do right now? Just kind of slowly get this lead back to where it's even again.
Well, I think you just keep playing your game.
Okay.
You keep, don't put your head down, and just keep trying to work on your technique and work on the small things as well. And you're seeing them kind of do that now. They're not trying too hard to do anything crazy. They're just playing their game. You see the free ball come over for the Monroe, and miscommunication there from the Mustangs. Unfortunately, that hit there from Monroe could have been a great opportunity, but unfortunately,
just missed out on another
just
one.
Missed out. Serve coming in from Monroe here. Victoria Roteman with the dig. Looks like Julia Kunik is going to go for the hit. She just kind of places the ball there. They somehow get a good set off. Did not look like that set from Monroe was going to be that great, but they were able to make something out of it and get the point. A lot of talented players from Monroe, as we talked about, as head coach Rob Childs calls a timeout here to kind of shift momentum a bit. A lot of talented players from Monroe, especially at that setter position. You can see their setters have really been setting up the outside hitters for
and it seems that they've been putting it at the ball at a right place for them to score at the right time. What do you think, and just looking at the bench from both teams, one team crowding around and one just kind of seemed like they're just lounging around, nonchalantly?
Well, nothing new for the Mustangs here. If head coach Rob Childs takes a timeout. Typically, the players out there on the bench will be around either him or the assistant coach discussing, and then he'll sometimes pick out an individual player. You see Paula Kramer there talking to the trainer, so it might have been why he took the timeout. But the Mustangs, they don't. It depends on the situation, but they're not always all together. They might be off with the assistant coach and the head coach are taking some players. But you can see, Monroe, very huddle style. Everyone is right around. They're all talking together.
And ready to go.
Yeah, and here we go. Timeout is over. Monroe will get the serve. All of a sudden, they've come up to a 5-point lead. And Paul Kramer is in. So it looks like she's got some type of a brace on her right ankle. So maybe that was what was causing her issues. Another miscommunication. Two miscommunications there. One on the hit to get the ball back over to their court, and another on getting it back over the net. Here comes the serve from Monroe again. Victoria Roteman with the dig. Vukoslavovic just has to put it over for a free ball. A team like this, you don't want to give them very many free balls. Kiki Raphael with a great block, and the Mustangs are able to get it back over the net. And another great get from Erica Bruzek. Great defense here from the Mustangs. And that ball is out. Mustangs get another point, and that was a really great point for the Mustangs.
And I think they need to play just like they played in that specific time.
Well, they're defensively, certainly. Offensively, not exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
But, if they can play like that defensively the whole match, they'll look really good. And you can just see how Monroe is able to take everything the Mustangs throw at them almost.
And they seem just a lot more disciplined. Oh, and almost a miscommunication by Monroe.
Yeah. A couple of good hits. Mustangs are gaining a little bit of momentum these last 2 points. Vukoslavovic with a great shot to the corner. And the ball gets over, but Monroe just puts it right back up. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of really good defense. A lot of good positioning from the Mustangs as well. Substitution in for Monroe. Number 3, Carolina Almeida comes in for Monroe. But you saw a little bit of momentum those last 2 points. Mustangs were playing well. Problem is, the longer the point goes on with Monroe, she's like the refs are talking to the crowd a little bit. Trying to calm them down a bit, I guess. And it's a bad rotational mistake from the Mustangs. Unfortunately, that's a tough point for them. The longer the point goes on with a team like Monroe, however, the less likely Mustangs are able to win the point. You don't want to give them multiple hits at the ball, multiple attacks at the ball. Vukoslavovic goes to the back corner. She's been targeting that corner, and it's been working fairly well. She hasn't been able to get the kill, but it has been drawing the Monroe team out of position a little bit. She's definitely picking on that weakness back there. However, Monroe, they have some great setters. They're able to, even if the dig isn't great, they can get the ball into position.
Oh, man, just a bad handle on the ball coming from receiving that.
Yeah, now you're starting to see the Mustangs slow down a little bit, unfortunately. But I think they are definitely learning a lot from this Monroe team, seeing what it's like. And, another attempt at a sneaky play from Julia Kunek. Is going to give the Mustangs a free ball. Somehow they're not able to get the ball in play, unfortunately.
Just another mishandling with the ball.
Yeah, that was interesting. They knew it was going to be a free ball. They had the opportunity to set up a great attack, and they just weren't able to do it. Serve comes over from Monroe. It's a low serve. Hit goes out to Vukoslavovic. Who can't get it over the net, unfortunately.
I don't think number 5 of the Mustangs was ready for that return.
Well, I think the ball never really went over the net. So, so it wasn't really a block as much as it was. It would have been a 4th hit if the Mustangs had hit it again. Mustangs are somehow able to get the ball over despite a mistake off the serve return. And a great kill. And they touch the net again. Net.
Man. It just seems like things are kind of getting rough for the Mustangs.
Yeah, it was interesting. They were playing really well. And now you're just seeing a lot of errors and a lot of mistakes, unfortunately. Serve comes back over, goes to Vukoslavovic. She is going to get the attack. Um, Easily countered by Monroe, who
Good
makes a
return.
great shot
And
and
it
a
just
great
goes out of
kill
bounds.
for Monroe. And it was, I believe it was 13 to 10, or maybe 16. I know it was at least 16 to 10.
Yep.
Now it's 23 to 10. Monroe has racked up a couple points in a row. That service error will definitely help the Mustangs.
Definitely.
Hopefully they can start building some momentum. Probably not going to win this second set, but they can start building towards the third set.
And maybe even make a run in the third
Yeah,
set.
and taking a set off of a team like Monroe would be fantastic for the Mustangs. See the serve come over from Leah Tollett. Miscommunication there from Monroe. Another error gives Mustangs another point. Tollett will serve again. She is the libero tonight for the Mustangs. Service to the back corner, easily returned by Monroe, who takes a big hit from the middle hitter.
Oh, and it seems like there might be an injury.
Yeah, that hit her. It looks like she probably got hit on the finger, maybe jammed her finger up a little bit. She's a libero, so she can come off without a substitution. She's talking to the athletic trainer, Josh Walters, over there right now.
And our athletic trainer is also a part of St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
Yeah, so he's part of the St. Luke's Health Network. We contract him. He is full-time with us, but we contract through them, which is great for us. Looks like they're going to take a little bit of a break now while she gets looked at.
And just
to
make some quick announcements. The school here at Montgomery County Community College, they offer programs that help students throughout the day, specifically with food pantry. There are a lot of students here who go hungry, and we have created a pantry program where students could come and eat food for free. And we have an event going on from a club called Monroe Radio, where they have an event next Saturday, October 26th, from 9 to 6, where they'll be giving away free prizes for anyone who donates to the program. You can go to monroeradio.com and click the link on the front page and donate today.
Yeah, and you're part of that Monroe Radio Club, aren't you?
Yes, I'm actually the current president and station manager. We do a lot of events in the fall and in the spring, and we try to do as much community service projects as we can to help everyone around our community.
Yeah, that's awesome. Monroe Radio Club is a great club. Second set over now, 25-12 going to Monroe. For those of you just tuning in, because both teams, their mascot is the Mustangs, we'll be referring to Monroe Mustangs as Monroe and the Montgomery Mustangs as the Mustangs.
Right. Because I'm sure there's always confusion when it comes to teams who have the same, I said Mustang names, the same mascot names. Yeah. So you got to just let people know that, hey, this is how we're going to refer for both teams.
Definitely.
Because it can get confusing sometimes.
Absolutely. And that article coming out is going to be an interesting one to write.
Yes,
trying to manage
yes,
those names. Yeah.
Yes, it will. And so, if you're Rob Childs right now, what are you telling your team?
Again, I think he's just focusing on technical issues, positioning issues, just minor things that you really get a chance to work on with a team like this. I think that's probably what he's talking to them about. He knows this is going to be one of the greatest comebacks of all time if the Mustangs are going to be able to come back from this. But it's possible.
There's always another set. So
he's probably talking less about that and more about, okay, here's where you need to be, here's the mistakes that you're making and how to fix them, type of thing. Assistant coach Jessica Holster, this is her first year. You can see her on the bench. She's been doing a great job as well, working with the girls. Former Delaware Valley, Del Val College player. For them, Division III
she
player.
came back here to help
coach us out. Yeah, she's a part-time
thing.
assistant, and she's been doing a great job as well.
And so, what do you see the trajectory of specifically the volleyball team and just athletics in general? Where do you think you see this going in the next few years?
Depends on how long head coach Rob Childs stays here. He is a fantastic coach. Has really turned the program around. Even like last year, getting them into the playoffs, and then this year. Competing for a very high seed in the playoffs, probably looking at the 4 seed. Every year that he's been here 2 years, and every year we've gotten better. So I think the longer that he stays here, the better that we'll get. And we're looking ahead to regional playoffs soon. Odds are that we'll be a 4 seed, and Harrisburg will be the 1 seed, and we'll probably have to play them.
Harrisburg. Now, what do you think it takes when it comes to regional seeding? And I know we talked about this earlier before we started here about the committee. Where are you trying to, if you're the Mustangs and you're trying to give your position of where you think you should be seating to the committee, how would you place this game, and what do you think this could be for our seating for
I
coming
don't think
into
this
playoffs?
game will have too much of an effect. Out of region game, Division One team, they killed Harrisburg last night. Harrisburg will still be the 1 seed, hands down.
Okay.
I don't foresee that being a thing. What'll be interesting is if you look at the seeding right now, or at the standings right now, Harrisburg is number 1. They were undefeated until last night. They were the number 6 team in the country. They'll probably stick right around there. Lost to
Okay.
Monroe, won't affect them that much. They'll definitely be the 1 seed. Then is where things get interesting. Rowan College of South Jersey Gloucester, who the Mustangs lost to last night, have really been making a case towards the end of the year that they should be the 2 seed. But up until last night, they were behind Raritan Valley College. Those two teams, if they haven't played each other a second time, they will play each other a second time. And that'll certainly determine the seeding.
Wow.
But the only kind of mix-up in the standings that I would see from the seeding committee is between us and Raritan Valley. Raritan Valley has had a slow second half of the year, and we don't play Raritan Valley. So because of that, there could be some judgment in there. If
Who
that
should be a certain seed? And
however,
placement.
Raritan Valley beginning of the year did beat Rowan College South Jersey Gloucester.
Okay.
So that is where it becomes interesting.
Here we go.
if
The
I'm
start
not
of the
mistaken.
third set. And what a return.
Yeah, it was a great return there by the Mustangs. The outside hitters from Monroe, though,
They seem like they have a lot, like I said earlier, there's a lot of discipline and great placement where they want the ball and then hitting it, having the trajectory from their hand to the floor. I mean, it's amazing.
yeah, and one thing I've noticed with Monroe is if you're even a little bit out of position, they're going to capitalize on that. See the ball just go out for Julia Kunek. She's been trying to pick the right position, and she just seems to be a couple inches away every time tonight. She's been struggling a little bit, as you will against a team like this. But Monroe just seems to capitalize on positional mistakes from the Mustangs very often. See the ball go out to Julia Kunek for another hit. Let's see how she does here. Decent hit, but Monroe's able to get it. It looked like, I don't know if she meant to do that. The ball came off of her hand weird, and the spin caused the Mustangs just not be able to return it.
Now, do you think that's difficult to do when it comes to making the ball spin a certain way?
Yeah, volleyball players, you definitely want to spin the ball, especially we'll see on the serve. Putting spin on the serve is a lot easier to do because you have control of the ball. Certain players will spin certain ways. You see Julie Kunek get a good hit off there. That was a great hit for her. She gets the kill there. But you will see volleyball players spin the ball and try to put spin in different scenarios. Julia Kunek now up to serve. She's a good server. There she has picked a position to put the ball. You see again. I'm not sure if she means to do that or if the ball just came off of her hand weird. But either way, it catches the Mustangs off guard. Monroe back up to serve. See the serve come in. Victoria Roteman with the reception. Leon Vukoslavovic with a kill, and she's really struggling against that block.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason was the set was not a great set. It was a little bit too low and a little bit too close to the net. It can be really difficult as an outside hitter to get around the block if the set isn't good, especially against a team like this. See the set from her there, Julia Kunek. And the ball just goes out of bounds. And again, that block, and it's really important for a player like Vukoslavovic, who will probably go on to play somewhere else. Statistically, she's on the leaderboard for a lot of stats this year, top 5 in various stats. She needs to learn how to play against a block like this, and so this is a great experience.
Yeah, exactly, great experience coming against the block, especially with a team like Monroe, being from where they are and traveling to where they go a lot. I think being exposed to this talent will really help her in the long run.
Definitely. And it's interesting to talk about that, just the personal development. Not necessarily the development for the team, but the personal development for these players. Playing a match like that is great. You'll see a couple of Mustangs, I think, probably go on to play at four-year universities, whether it be Division III, Division II. Especially, you look at Julia Kunek, Liljana Vukoslavovic. These players, they don't have a lot of experience against teams like this, and this is what they're going to be playing against if they end up playing Division III. I'm sure Monroe could probably beat a couple of Division III teams.
Probably, and I can see that just watching the game today, and just knowing the history of their team and where they go. I think the exposure from this for the Mustangs
is great.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And who knows where they could go in the future.
Definitely, and So it's always good for, and then you see Julie connect there with a little sneaky play over the net, trying to put it in the right position. Great block there by the Mustangs. Finally, that block getting involved like we've been talking about. But for those individual players, coaches recruiting them want to see that they've played against teams like this. They know how to play against teams and that they can perform. This game film will be a great recruiting piece for them. Number 1 for the Mustangs, and I didn't see her come in. She might have started the set.
Sophia Collins.
Sophia Cullen, yes. Okay, she very rarely plays for the Mustangs, but she'll get in occasionally. Definitely one of the spirited players for the Mustangs. Very good, especially on the bench at getting the. Oh, looks like the scoreboard went out. I bet you I know what happened there. I think.
It looks like we have some.
There's an electrical outlet beneath the scorer's table there.
So it seems like we might have to pause the game.
Yeah, so as soon as they connect that back in, the scoreboard should connect. That's happened a few times before, unfortunately. If you don't realize it's there, you kick the electrical outlet, and
just the power goes out.
The power goes out. Let's see if they can fix that there.
Seems like we're in some technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties here.
And you can hear the rain's kind of starting to come down a lot more now.
We're going to go on a short break here, and we'll be back shortly.
And it seems that it seems that we're having some technical difficulties, and we're going to continue on to see how this is going to come out. As we see Ryan Plummer going down, he's actually our game time manager. He's looking at some things right now, and we'll continue on. And it looks like the power just got back on. So here we go. We're back up again. The score is back to 12-8. Oh no, 8-2 is the game, and it seems like we got everything back on track. So right now we got everything situated, and we're getting ready to head back. Monroe College is getting ready to serve the ball. We're in set 3 right now, and we're ready to start.
All right, back now. Sorry, had to take care of that. And we are back in play. Monroe serving up 9-2. Serve comes over. Miscommunication by the Mustangs. Always tough when you got a couple of backup players like that. Sometimes they just don't know where to be or don't know whose responsibility it is at the ball.
Yeah,
Sometimes
and this exposure to a team like this, I think, gives the Mustangs a lot more experience, because if they decide to go on to the next level, they're going to be playing teams just as hard as Monroe.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's great for those players, and Rob Childs has a couple of his backup players. You see, saw Sophia Cologne earlier. We see Victoria Roteman. Some of these players Kiki Raphael, some of these players that don't necessarily get playing time to play against a team like this and just kind of see how they play. Just seeing how they play in general is really good. And you actually see a couple of them step up. Roteman, I know, is traditionally a bench player, and see Vukaslovic there try to get around the block. The block is definitely affecting her ability to hit.
It's very hard trying to get around, especially a block that's coming straight at you.
Yeah, two-person block, which is what we talked about earlier. They're not used to seeing that.
And do you
it's
think
definitely
they might
affecting
have studied her coming into this game?
I don't think they would have put that much effort, not necessarily into that. I think, playing against a lot of D3 teams, they probably don't put as much scouting effort into it. I wouldn't be surprised if they've heard of her. She's statistically leading in service aces, top 5 in service aces per set, top 10 in certain stats like digs per set, things like that. So they might have heard of her, but I don't think they put too much effort into scouting her. As we were saying before, Victoria Roteman, she's really stepped up tonight. She's got a couple of serve receptions, a couple of digs, playing really well. The ball goes out of bounds. Again, you can see sort of how that block can affect the play there.
Definitely, and it seems that the Mustangs have the talent to play against teams like Monroe, but it just seems like their energy and the miscommunication is kind of what's affecting them.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. They certainly play with them, yes. I think they can play with them. To beat a team like this, you need to be near perfect, and without the starting lineup typical starting lineup for the Mustangs, it's going to be really tough. Be interesting to see. We see a sub come in from Monroe. seems like they're putting their backups in up late to get them some experience. Kiki Raphael just not able to get the dig there. It's technically a service ace. It's interesting for those of you familiar with tennis. Typically, a service ace means that the other player cannot have touched the ball. It's a little bit different in volleyball. It counts as an ace.
Miscommunication.
Like that would count as an ace as well if the serve causes the player to be unable to return the ball or get a good dig off. A little bit subjective, but you can tell typically when an ace is an ace. Kiki Raphael there with a great dig and just miscommunication. See a little bit of frustration on the Mustang side. It's typical, it's a very tough game and new positions, new rotations can make that a little
coming
difficult.
in at certain times and getting that exposure.
Yeah. So looking ahead for the Mustangs, 2 games left for them in the regular season. This Saturday in a tri-match against Atlantic Cape. We'd love to see as many of you there that would like to come out. We really want to get a big crowd for the last day of the season and sophomore night, of course.
And that's
after
one of
that,
the last games of the
so those are the last 2 games of the regular season. After that, regional playoffs will begin. The seeding committee has not determined seeding yet, so we'll be looking forward to that. I'm not exactly sure when that seeding will be released. A lot of it's determined on when games finish so that everyone can have it be there. A great kill, but a great dig, and she just touches the net. But a great dig there by Julia Kunek to be able to return that ball. Mustangs here, it's very tough when you're down 2-0 to mount a comeback. You can see them kind of deflated, maybe not trying as hard or trying a couple of new different things out. So a little bit tougher to make that comeback. That's why you see such a big score discrepancy between this third set and the other 2 sets.
And it seems like Monroe, as I mentioned earlier, they seem like they've had the experience, and a lot of the teams a lot of the players on the team are players who came play last year and are coming back. Do you think that's important moving forward for the Mustangs?
Yeah, for the Mustangs,
a lot
essential.
of players who are sophomores and who are freshmen last year and coming back this year to.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, if you look at the Monroe roster, just how many sophomores they have on their team.
They actually have a lot of freshmen.
1, 2, 3,
really.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 about sophomores on the roster. The Mustangs have, I believe, 2. No, 3. The Mustangs have 3 on their roster. So you can see, that experience difference, just how big that can be. It's going to be crucial for the Mustangs that they have such a big roster this year and a pretty talented roster with their freshmen. If those freshmen can return, that'll definitely help them build. But you also want to go out and recruit some really good players for this next year. You see a great kill from Lijana Vukoslavovic. Again, hitting that back corner, trying to play on that, gets her the point there. Here she is up to serve. It'll be interesting. She has 2 serve techniques that she uses. She uses a jump serve, and she also has a standing serve. She goes for the standing serve there. It is returned. And Kiki Raphael just can't get the reception there. It was a great hit by Monroe. We see another sub come in. One of the starters, actually, number 10, it looks like. Or no, I'm sorry, number 16.
16.
Coming in for Monroe. Serve coming over there. 22-4, probably not going to be a good set for the Mustangs. Yeah. That was not a good serve. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, no, that must have hurt.
Always got to watch your head. Huh?
That's probably going to be on ESPN's Not Top Plays
yeah,
on Friday.
Right.
It's a bad serve, but.
Well, here comes Vic Rotman up to serve.
Oh man, ding dong, the witch is dead. Oh boy.
See a hit come outside and just over the net. And again, that's happened a couple of times where the Mustangs Monroe hasn't gotten a great hit over the net and they just cannot recover. So here's another sub coming in. It's number 1, Julia Alves. Mustangs working on positioning where they want to be. See Catherine Bean in the game for the first time today.
Just a side hit on the ball there. Miscommunication with the Mustangs.
That's a tough comeback here for the Mustangs. Match point now for Monroe. Serve coming over. Dug by Vic Roteman, but the Mustangs can't come back up to it, and that is our match.
Our match.
Mustangs.
So it seems like the Mustangs are 5, visitors
15 and
25.
6 overall now. Monroe will move up to 17 and 8 now.
So it was a great matchup here. Thank you guys very much for joining us here at Montgomery County Community College. I'm Donnell Peak alongside with Ryan Plummer. We'll hopefully see you guys in the basketball season and different games to come.